I realized this morning while I was staring at a mountain of laundry and a cold cup of my tea that I am the CEO of my household, but I've become a complete intern in my own life. I'm the fixer, the driver, the schedule master. But when was the last time I actually chose something just for me? If you've ever felt like your spark is buried under a pile of soccer jerseys and work deadlines, Mama, this one is for you. Hey, friends, welcome back to Struggle and Strength Mom's Balancing It All with Nikki. You know how it is. We wear busyness like a badge of honor. We think if we're exhausted, we must be doing it right. But lately, I've been hitting a wall. I mean, I broke out in hives this week. I have no idea why, but I can tell you that I am itching from head to toe and it's all over my body, and nothing I do is making it stop. I've been checking all the boxes: professional career, 3 kids in every sport imaginable. I mean, yesterday I drove over 200 miles going from tennis to chess to diving to soccer. It was insane. We've got we're running the business on the side. Oh, running the household, doing all the finances, but inside, I feel like I'm just treading water, like waiting for that moment to sink. And let me tell you what happened on Tuesday. I was in the middle of a strategy call for a client, my zone of genius. And my middle son walks in. He starts telling me this long, detailed story about this dragon that he's building on his Tinkercad, this 3D print dragon. And I'm nodding and I'm saying, wow, that's so great, Bubs. And I'm actually typing an email with one hand and checking the soccer schedule with another. Suddenly he stops and asks, Mom, are you actually even here? Do you hear what I'm saying? And it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, I was physically in the room, but mentally, I was miles away solving everyone else's problem. I realized I was also just available to everyone else: my boss, my kids, the soccer coach, that I wasn't even available to myself. I had no boundaries. I was saying yes to every request because I was afraid of disappointing people. But I was the one ending up being disappointed in my own day. I had a workshop this week that I put together, and I was so busy doing everybody else's work, all my client work, that I didn't even get my workshop funnel completed until probably about 3 days before. And then I was like racing to try to invite people to that. Not only that, but I had an in person event on Friday that I did, and I woke up Monday morning that week, like 4 days before the event, with 0 people invited. I hadn't even sent out the invites yet because I was so focused on getting people into my virtual event. I didn't have time to set up my in-person event. And let me tell you, I had that in-person event scheduled almost a month ago. I already had 2 speakers, a pharmacist that turned into a broker, and my neighbor who created her own body butter. And I was struggling to get it all put together with a month notice. Why? Because I was just so busy focused on everybody else. I'm sure that's probably why I broke out in hives last Friday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'm still itching all over my body, is because I was finally doing something for myself, but it was rushed. It was so sloppy and disorganized, but that's okay. I was so proud of myself for actually following through, but this is where the no boundaries comes into play. Like, even though I wanted to spend the whole entire week focusing on myself, all I could think about was my clients. What did I need to do for them? What deliverables did I need to do? I mean, I every day before my virtual event, I didn't even have my slides ready. I was spending so much of my time working on everybody else's things that I was finishing my slides like 30 minutes prior to when my virtual event was taking place. So my event, it took place Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 7:30 PM. And like come 7 o'clock, I'm like scrambling to get everything done. I created the funnel, but I duplicated another one and then for my in-person one because I changed my in-person event from the same virtual event workshop that I was doing to being a networking event. Because I thought, like my neighbor reached out. She's like, "Hey, do you have anybody scheduled for Friday? Do you still want me to speak?" And I was like, yes, I still want to do it, but I don't have anybody signed up." And so like 2 days prior, I'm racing, like posting in every Facebook group that I could imagine, and you know what? I ended up getting 15 people signed up for the event, which was amazing. It worked out well. Everything turned out okay, but I didn't have any boundaries. I wasn't setting myself up as a priority. And I was ending up disappointing myself. Of course, my family this week was struggling because I was there, but not fully presently there. And, to be quite honest, I was kind of disappointed in myself because I was so afraid of telling everybody, I have my own event this week. Like, I can't do anything for you because I didn't want them to be like, oh, we don't want to work with you anymore. Like, I always have this fear that if I don't say yes to every single person, that they're going to think that I can't do it. Like, I can't function or I'm not the best person to work for, or I can't take on their load, or like I have all these negative feelings going through my mind if I say no. And I was actually really proud of myself. I had a potential client last week who wanted me to give them a proposal. And I told him, I said, I have a virtual event and an in person. So it might be like later on in the week that I get you your proposal. And that's literally the first time I've ever said something like that because I knew that I wouldn't be able to get it done. And I didn't want to promise him something and then not deliver it and then it be just a Debbie Downer for both of us because he'd be like, "Oh, this is junk." And I would be like, "Oh man, I totally messed up on that client." But that was the first time that I've ever said something like that where I've put myself first and said, "Hey, I can get it to you, but it's going to be later on." And I want to do more of that because it felt really good. The stress wasn't there, but of course I had the whole stress of like my events. Um, which turned out quite pretty amazing. My in-person event, I changed to a networking event instead of a workshop. And the people that showed up at the very end of it, they're like, "So when are you gonna plan the next one?" And I was like, "Oh, you actually want me to plan another one? Like, you found value in this?" Because to me, okay, I showed up. My event started at 1 o'clock on Friday, and I showed up at 12:57. Okay. Because I was racing. I had a client call that lasted 2 hours that morning. Probably shouldn't have done that. I wasn't prepared, but my client call actually helped set me up because they were trying to help me like decide what I should do for my in-person at this networking event. And then I was cutting out the little questions and I was trying to make sure everything was perfect. And then I left the house and I asked my husband, I said, "How important is it for me to bring food?" He's like, "That's like the staple of an event. You have to have something." And so I raced to Sam's Club. I ran in there, grabbed a fruit and cheese platter. Like everybody who saw me was like, "Wow, woman on a mission. You're racing to get somewhere." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm late." And I got to my event, and thankfully, there was only one person that was waiting for me. But I didn't have anything set up, and I felt so disorganized and like I was gonna be judged. Do you ever feel that way where you know that you're not, like, at your best and you feel like you're gonna get judged? And it's like all this stress, I feel like we create ourselves Because the guy that was there who showed up, he's like, "Hey, can I help you? Like, you look like you might need some help." And I was like, "No, no, no, I got it," right? Being the strong woman, like the mom who can handle it all, juggle 20 million things at the same time. And we do that to ourselves because we feel like if we don't, we're gonna look like we don't have it all together, or we're not strong, or we can't ever ask for help. And he's like, I'm really happy to help if you need anything." I was like, "No, no, 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 got it all. I got it." And, trying to downplay, "It's not that much. It's not a big deal. Like, I got this." And I mean, he was so sweet and so helpful. And this guy, let me tell you, he goes to like 3 or 4 networking events every day. That's how he spreads the word and gets his business out there. And let me tell you, he actually gave me a compliment saying that he really enjoyed my event and was trying to help me plan the next one. So that made me feel really good. Like from somebody who is going to 3 and 4 networking events every day, he actually found value in my networking event. So that just goes to show, like for me, I don't feel like I did anything spectacular, but to everybody else, I looked like a rock star. And I don't know, why do we do that? Why do us moms, like, why do we downplay our success? Why do we feel like what we do isn't this huge glamorous thing? And I keep thinking back to remembering myself as this latchkey kid in Chicago, taking my younger brother to school on one bike, me pedaling the whole entire way, like 2 miles with him sitting on the back seat and our backpacks on his back. I learned very early on that love and success was tied to performance. Like the harder you performed, the more you did, the more successful, the more uh what is that called? Like credit that you got. So if I was useful, I was valued. If I handled everything, I was the strong one. And I had to be growing up with 3 brothers, like, I didn't wanna be the weak link of the family. I didn't wanna be, "Oh, she's just the girl." Like, I wanted to be some strong, woman who people were scared of because I had 3 brothers and I had to, outperform them. But still, 20 years later, that same mentality, it's burning me out. And I've been realizing lately that boundaries aren't walls, they're actually instructions. They teach people how to treat you. And as I mentioned, I've done this before. I've had episodes before about boundaries, and I'm really struggling to set mine and show people how I want to be treated. And I don't know if you feel the same way. Like, are you struggling to put those boundaries into place because you're fearful? Like, my fear is, as I mentioned, like, if I put up boundaries with clients, I feel like they're gonna be like, "Oh, I want my money back," or, "Oh, this is not what I signed up for," or, "Oh, you're not going above and beyond," or, "Oh, you're not providing me with value." And it's really not that. It's if you don't give instructions, people will just take whatever you have left. And I feel like I should, as the builder, as the organizer, as the one who has it all together, like, I should be able to delegate and to put boundaries up, and I am so good at that at home. I tell my kids all the time, like, "Hey, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this?" And I tell my husband, "Can you do this?" I have all these laundry lists of things for my family to do, but when it comes to anybody outside my immediate family, I immediately have no boundaries. I immediately feel like if I let somebody else do something, then I'm a failure. So I want you to think about your life. Are you doing those same things? Are you putting up boundaries so that you can be present? And what I've been realizing lately too is that if I don't take care of myself, then I can't take care of others. It's like the whole mask thing when you go on the airplane and they tell you to put your oxygen mask on first before you help anybody else put theirs on, like your children. And it's the same thing in life. Like, we have to start taking care of ourselves. There was a woman who came late to the event. She was the last one, my 8th person. So I had 8 people show up. How cool is that? Including me. But 8 people that within a day's notice came to my networking event. Can you imagine if I actually, like, advertised and put on a real live event, how many people I might get to sign up? I had people messaging me saying, "I'm so sorry I can't make this event, but if you have another one, please let me know." So, they're finding value in what I have. I'm just not finding value in what I have. And I want you to think about that for yourself because we downplay ourselves so much. I want you to think about your value. And are you really truly valuing what you do on a daily basis? It doesn't matter if you're a stay at home mom holding down the fort, taking care of the family, or if you're working a full time job, building a business on the side like me. There's so much that we do and so much of it that we don't value, that we let other people take advantage of. And I want you to start identifying those and really start standing up for yourself and putting things into place so that you are taking care of yourself, valuing who you are, and really and truly like showing up as your best self for everyone. So I want you to start thinking about that because here's the truth I need you here to hear today is that you don't find your purpose by doing more for everyone else. You find it by reclaiming the parts of yourself that you've abandoned. Whether that's starting a side hustle you've been dreaming of or just taking 2 hours to sit in silence without feeling guilty. Remember that airplane rule. Put your oxygen mask on first. If you're running on empty, you can't pour into your family. When a mom rises up, everyone rises. Do you know what's so funny is that during recently, well, during the month of Lent, my husband has started to abide by eating healthier, but also I've been doing this probably since the beginning of the year, and I love when I see my kids mimicking us. It's so fun. Like, I don't know if you see that in yours, but mine are trying to eat healthy as well. And they're like, I congratulate them for doing that. I asked my daughter, we went to her chess, they all had a chess tournament yesterday. And of course, they fed them like pizza and then they had cookies and brownies and things on the side. And both two of my kids gave up sweets for Lent. And the third one wasn't there. He had to go to a soccer game and then he was racing back and forth. But when we were eating, he wasn't there. So I asked my daughter, was like, oh, I want a brownie so bad. And I asked her, I said, this is really hard on you giving up sweets for Lent. And she was like, yeah. I said, so is this the last time you'll ever give up sweets for Lent? And she says, no. Mm-mm. And it just shows me like she is finding value in giving up sweets for Lent. Even though it stinks and it's like her love is sweets, she totally sees that she's doing something good by giving it up and that she's sacrificing just the same way that Jesus Christ sacrificed for us. So, what I want you to hear from this episode is that you are not a number. You're not just a glorified Uber driver. You're a woman who has real dreams and value. And you need to put up those boundaries. You need to start taking care of yourself first so that you can be present for everyone else. And just like I am having issues trying to multitask, do it all, we need to let go of some of that and really be present in those moments when our kids are trying to fight for our attention. But by putting up those boundaries, we will have time to do that. God didn't design you just to survive. He designed you to thrive. So if you're feeling stuck, it doesn't mean that you're failing. It just means that you're ready for a new strategy. Stop punishing yourself for being human and start strategizing your own joy. For me, it's like these little moments of when I don't have any client deliverables and I really feel like guilty, like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so lost." I feel like I'm not productive today, but I have to remember to that I get a day off too. Like, I need to take that time and really capitalize on it and revive myself so I can be there for everybody else. So, if today's episode made you feel seen, I want to hear from you. Send me a DM on Facebook or Instagram. Share your target moment or your boundaries that you're going to set up. And if you're a mom ready to build something of your own, but you just don't know where to start, I encourage you to reach out to me. You can book a call, www.talktonikkiw.com. Let's map out your next steps together. And don't forget to subscribe and share this with one mama who needs to hear this, that she's doing better than she thinks. So until next time, keep showing up, keep dreaming big, and remember, you've got this.